Dear learners, today we will start the next part of our renewable energy course, which is bioenergy. Now we have completed the solar time, the photovoltaic cell in details as well as the solar collector. So let's go to the next part of our renewable energy course, which is the bioenergy. Now the total course of bioenergy is subdivided into three parts, and we will explain each and every part with its pros and cons. So, what is bioenergy? Naturally, the energy obtained from the organic wastage materials. Look at the picture here. We can get the energy from the biomass or biomaterials we can produce. We can get the energy from the ashes. We require some sort of industry or refinery center where it will be produced. And it gives the amount of energy in the form of fuel, heat, electricity, some sort of materials, and obviously it will emit some sort of carbon dioxide sometimes naturally, and which will be again absorbed by this organic part, that is the trees. So it's a cyclic process. Now the total part, one of the major thing is biomass. We will discuss it obviously. We will discuss the biogas, as well as we will discuss the biofuel also. So in this lecture, I start with the biogas, different mechanisms to form the biogas, then the detail of biomass, the procedure, and last we will briefly describe what is biofuel. So let's start with the biogas. What is biogas? It is the gas obtained from the organic sources. Some fuel is also available, and both have some different requirements. I will come to that later. How it is produced? No external chemical reaction has to be made. It's internal, because the biomass, inside there will be bacteria. They will make the breakdown of these organic materials with two criteria. Number one, water should be present. Number two, oxygen should be absent. So breakdown of the organic wastage by the bacteria in presence of water and absence of oxygen produces biogas. It is a mixture of, major part will be methane 65%, addition with some carbon dioxide, hydrogen, hydrogen sulfide, etc. So let's go to the production of the biogas. There are two types of production. One will be called the fixed dome type. Second will be called floating gas holder type. The next I will discuss both mechanical architecture of both the cases, as well as their features, how the workflow goes on, and make a vis-a-vis comparative study between themselves. So let's start first with the floating dome, fixed dome type, and then the floating concept, the floating gas holder. Actually, floating gas holder is not used today. I will show why, because there will be some expensiveness and there will be some damages of the architecture. I'll come a little bit later. Let's go to the fixed dome. This is the structure. Now look, there is a left hand side, it is written as slurry. The first point is, what is slurry? Slurry is a mixture of biomass with proportionate amount of water. Generally equal amount of water is required, but in some cases some less amount of water is required. But overall it's a technical term. Organic wastage material mixed with some amount of water will be called slurry. It is put in the mixing tank, and there is a inclined inlet chamber or inlet pipe is added. So from mixing tank, slurry will go to the digester tank, which is at the bottom. Look at the middle part of the mechanical structure. There is a dome shape. So the slurry, once it will start to fill up, it will try to replace the air and it can touch the dome structure. That's why it is called fixed dome type. But the condition is you can't fill the total digester tank, that is the dome shape structure, using the slurry. You have to keep some portions vacant. So what will happen for that? If some portion is vacant, then there will be some space for the gas which will be produced. Now once part of the digester tank is filled by slurry, you have to leave it for a specific time, 45 to 90 days, it will vary. Now what will happen? The tank is closed, so there is no chance of external oxygen. The bacteria present inside the slurry starts fermentation. And because of the fermentation, biogas starts to produce. Naturally, this gas is lighter, so it will go towards the dome shape architecture and slurry will go downwards. So once the biogas is partly filled up, it will give the pressure on slurry. Inlet tank is filled, so it has the only option to go to the outlet chamber and then the overflow tank. So slurry will go to the overflow tank. And in the dome shape region, we will get the biogas. Now look, there is a gas outlet. If you connect a pipe with the gas outlet using a valve, you can keep out the gas. So the workflow will be, you have to prepare the slurry, fed into digester through the inlet chamber. Once the digester tank is partially filled, kept it for a certain time period, close it. The anaerobic bacteria present in the biomass, it starts the fermentation process. Biogas is formed, goes to the dome shape region, pressure given to the slurry. The slurry, remaining slurry goes to the outlet chamber and goes to the overflow tank and manually removed. Now one point, our objective at this point to make the biogas, but the remaining slurry is also used. It is used as a fertilizer in the agricultural field. So both the part has uses. So both the fuel part as well as the gaseous part are required in the biogas production. And biogas can be collected using a gas valve and external pipe. So that is the fixed dome. So what are the features? It requires some easily available materials, which is locally available, obviously inexpensive, and production cost is very low. Just you have to keep it for a particular time interval. Next comes to the floating gas holder. Look, architecture is almost same, but at the top you have a gas holder which is not rigidly fixed. It can be moved using this piston. The white shown here is the piston, white line. Now what will happen? The same slurry is added in the mixing tank. It goes to the inlet pipe, then comes to the digester, again keep it for a particular time. Now once it is filled up, the gas produced that give pressure on the gas holder and gas holder starts to move upwards. Now using this gas, biogas, you can't move the gas holder at a very large displacement. So what will happen? Gas holder is partially moved and slurry also get the pressure. It goes to the outlet chamber and the outlet tank. So movement of the gas holder shows a person, the observer, that biogas is formed. In the previous case, there is no such movement. So you don't know what is the amount of biogas formed. And if the displacement of the gas holder is maximum, that means maximum amount of biogas is formed. So this is the point where people get to know that the biogas is formed. So what is the workflow? I am revising once again. The slurry is made, goes to the inlet chamber, then the digester tank. Digester tank is partially filled for a certain time. The bacteria again starts fermentation in presence of water and absence of oxygen. Biogas is formed, which is collecting. Produced biogas, because lighter, rises up, started collecting inside the gas holder. Gas holder starts to move up, but can't rise above a certain level because the displacement is fixed, maximum value. So pressure goes on slurry, slurry goes to the overflow tank, and gas valve is open to supply the biogas. So what is the advantage of the second type? That external observer can easily find out that the maximum amount of biogas is produced. But the problem is it's an expensive process because you require a mechanical structure with a piston. And it requires periodic maintenance, and the steel drum, that means the piston, the drum part connected with the piston, that may be damaged, maybe coercive, with time it rusts. So there is some problem in the floating gas holder type. So if I go for the uses of the biogas, biogas can be used for cooking by supplying the gas through the pipes to households from the plant. It has been effectively used as a fuel for industrial compression spark. It generates electricity and interface to the electrical grid. The induction generators derive their voltage, phase, frequency. Power outage occurs, generator will cease to operate. Synchronous generator can also work. It can be used as a fuel in hot water heater. So there are several usages of the biogas we have mentioned here. And what is the advantage? It can be used for directly for cooking, heating water. The resource material, that is the slurry material, is abundantly available. It reduces air and water pollution. Very less greenhouse gas production. Solve the waste management problem of the agriculture and food industry. This is very, very essential. A lot of amount of food and other things are wastage nowadays. So what are the disadvantages? It determined by availability of the raw materials, mainly the cow dung and the wastage of food. But if raw material is less, you can't produce more amount of biogas. Not feasible to locate at all the locations, and not attractive in a large scale production. Now people started to make large scale production, but it requires the availability of the food. Normally wastage of food is generally used for filling the lowland, but it is nowadays recycled for making the biogas also. So next comes to the course of the biomass. Biomass, its source is the microorganism, which is growing on the water and land and their derivatives. It can be converted into energy as liquid and gaseous fuels. Again, the same concept. Fuel may be liquid and gaseous, electricity, and process heat to provide energy services. And it can be required for both urban and rural industries and as well as populations. So what is biomass? How it can be converted? Look at these biomass sources. The residues are plants, agricultural crops, sewage system, municipal solid waste, animal residue, industrial residue, everything are the sources of biomass. So we can classify the biomass. It can be obtained from cultivation, that means the crop, forest, field, etc. And it can be derived from the organic wastage also. So if we move the different ways of extracting energy from the biomass, there are general three ways. I will not go to the combustion because combustion is the old age technique. I will generally exclude it. The major three are anaerobic digestion, gasification, and liquefaction. In next part, I will explain all these cases, the digestion, gasification, and liquefaction with the diagram along with its features, advantages and disadvantages. So let's go to the digestion. Anaerobic digestion is a biochemical degradation process that converts complex organic material such as animal manure into methane and other byproducts. It's a natural process of decomposition. And the chemical reaction takes place through the biological oxidation. So these are the steps or the silent features for the anaerobic digestion. It's a degradation process, converts organic material to some form of energy. It's a process of decomposition, as well as some chemical reactions takes place through the biological oxidation. So anaerobic digester. What is the anaerobic digester which makes the digestion process? It is a device that promotes the decomposition of manure or digestion, whatever you can say, whatever the terms of the organics, to simple gaseous biogas products. Decomposition to simple gaseous biogas products. That's the terminology. It is obviously formed by bacteria. The microbial growth and biogas production I have already discussed. But process will be very, very slow at ambient temperature. That's the one of the critical point. You can't make very fast process. It's a natural process. Not external chemical reagent is required, but it's a slow process. So this is the thing I have already discussed in a different form. That is the sludge outlet, that is the superment outlet, gas outlet, sludge inlet, everything, and the layer by layer. So it's a combined form of the floating gas holder and the fixed dome, given a schematic structure of the anaerobic digester. But the process is same. The bacteria takes the leading role. So what is the advantage? Obviously, it will produce methane and CO2. It reduces the volatile content of sludge. That means the amount of residue that is reduced. Reduction in number of pathogen. That is one of the major advantage, that amount of pathogen is reduced. And liquid is easily devoid of waters because it makes a separate layer. So there are two separate layers of the gas and the sludge. So we can't say that both are in the same format. The disadvantage. It is the possible formation of the explosive gases. There is a chance that only not the biogas is produced. Some explosive gases may be produced. Hydrogen sulfide has a bad smell, but I am not mentioning that because it's varies. I can't say the bad smell is a very major disadvantage, but point is it's a slow process. So it requires a constant monitoring. And the maintenance job and the cleaning job is required. Once the slurry is removed, you have to clean the total architecture and again put the next slurry. You can't reuse it, so you have to maintenance and the cleanliness process has to go on. So next comes to the gasification process. It exposes a solid fuel to high temperature and limited oxygen. Now the difference. Oxygen comes to play and temperature increases to produce a gaseous fuel. This is a mix of the gases. Again, the nitrogen, hydrogen, methane, CO, CO2, everything there will be a content, but methane content should be the highest, 60 to 70. And it's a thermochemical conversion process. Now, temperature has to present. It's a high temperature required. Previous case, you can go for low temperature. Now, it's a high temperature process. So, now thermal effect is required. The KT energy is required here. This is a gasification process. You are given the biomass. I am showing in the green. This is a drying zone. Then it will go through the pyrolysis and combustion. Once it will go on, then the reduced zone, the grade and the ash will be removed, and between them there will be a layer, this is basically the vacant, that is the removal of the gas. So nothing but it is the combination of pyrolysis, combustion and reduction. So that part, for pyrolysis and combustion, you require temperature as well as oxygen. So that is called the gasification process. What is the advantage? Obviously, the resultant gases, the methane, obviously you will get that. And it produced a fuel that has many impurities removed because this is a layered structure. So once you will go for pyrolysis to combustion to gas formation, most of the impurities are removed, which is not removed in the previous form of anaerobic process. And the most of the hydrocarbon, that means methane, methanol, whatever, that can be substituted for fossil fuel. This is one of the major advantage, that it has a substitution of the fossil fuel. So what are the disadvantages? The equipment should be more complex. Naturally, the structure is complex process and maintenance cost will be high. Next comes to the liquefaction. It is the process is shown, the biomass then goes to the liquefaction process, the phase separation, CO2, water, this separated, oil, bio oil will be produced, and there will be some upgradation and collection. So it will be converted into liquid phase. Now, temperature will be low, but pressure will be high. An external catalyst is required. Now the bacteria part is reduced. There is no need of internal bacteria. You require external catalyst, high pressure and low temperature. So that is the liquefaction. Now comes to the biodiesel, the last part. It is an alternative fuel without the major change of existing technologies, whatever remain, and it is environmental friendly. Now, normally biofuel is used for aircraft, which is a purest form of the biofuel we know. What are the sources of this biofuel or biodiesel? First is algae. Algae basically comes out from the ponds or where the water is stagnant actually. And it produces the plant for the specific purpose of creating biofuel. The major point is no emission of carbon dioxide back to our environment, self-generating biomass, and produce huge amount of oil than the conventional organic wastage. It can produce from carbohydrate, that means the sugar-rich material, sugar cane, wheat, beets, etc., etc. It can be produced from oil-rich biomaterial, that means the canola, sunflower, corn, etc. It can be produced from agricultural waste, organic, inorganic, both, like charcoal like biomass. Okay, so whatever you are using from that you can extract the biofuel, but the production will be fast and huge amount, the massive amount you can generate. This is the method actually. You have collect the oil, pre-treatment, then esterification, transferification, atmospheric distillation, washing, drying, and you will get the biodiesel. So that's basically the process. So you have to add the external catalysts now because that's the required sometime, because you have to make the massive amount of production. So actually there are several treatment process required. Now it is used for, I have already said, aircraft, railway, vehicle, heating oil. Oil spills can be cleaned using biofuel generator, and as a backup supply for the generator, biofuel is used or biodiesel. So it contains the less polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. What is the polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons? This is one of the hydrocarbon which causes cancer. So in biodiesel, that amount is almost absent. Greenhouse gas emission is very low. It is free of sulfur and lead, that means it's a non-toxic. And it can be used with conventional diesel. So it's a mixing with anything else, and that means if you mix with the ignition delay, that will be much less. If you only use conventional fuel, the ignition delay will be much higher. What is the disadvantages? Because it's produced from the sugar rich material, also oil rich material, so there will be a cause of food security. You are using the food products, and because it produces carbon, so it is a problem of overall carbon balance, mainly the positive carbon balance. Obviously expensive because you are making a mass production. It releases nitrogen monoxide, that's a major problem. Nitrogen monoxide creates a smog. and it causes problem at low temperature. Low temperature generally starts to freeze. Now, if you use a vehicle with a biodiesel and goes to extreme low temperature condition, your vehicle may not be moved. The pipe may be choked. So that is one of the major problem of the biodiesel. So these are some selected references. So up to that is the formation of the bio energy from biomasses and its applications. In the next class, we will go to the geothermal energy. Thank you all.